Flames, screams, and the smell of gasoline. That's what I came home to. My hands were still on the steering wheel when I saw it, my house engulfed in fire. My pregnant wife Emma was inside, 7 months along, and screaming my name. I jumped out of the truck before I could even think. The heat hit me like a bomb, windows bursting, wood cracking, smoke filling the air. And then I saw her, standing on the curb with a lighter in her hand, smiling Karen Hutchinson, president of the Homeowners Association, the same woman who fined Emma for having her flower pots an inch too close to the sidewalk. She said she was protecting the neighborhood. But tonight, she wasn't protecting anything. She was burning everything that made us human. She thought she was enforcing the rules, but that night she broke every law of humanity. But let me start at the beginning. Before we dive in, let me know where you're listening from today, the return home. Early, I wasn't supposed to be home yet, 3 days earlier than planned. That's how much I missed her. After 6 long months overseas, I couldn't wait another sunrise without my wife. I had the perfect surprise ready. Emma was 7 months pregnant, glowing in every photo she sent me. I'd packed her favorite flowers in the passenger seat and a little teddy bear for our daughter, Hope. That name had kept me alive through nights when everything went dark. The drive down Maple Grove Lane felt like peace. Golden light through the trees, kids' bikes on lawns, a neighborhood that looked like a postcard. For a moment, I thought I was finally done fighting, that I could just live. Then I smelled it. It hit before I saw it. That harsh chemical bite of gasoline mixed with something worse. Something I'd smelled before, like in war zones. Burning flesh. I gripped the wheel until the leather creaked. A thick column of black smoke rose above the rooftops, right where our house was supposed to be. My stomach dropped. "No," I whispered. No. By the time I turned the corner, my world was gone. Flames clawed at the sky, devouring everything Emma and I had built. Our white 2-story home, the one we painted together, the one with the blue shutters she loved, was burning alive. I didn't even stop the car. I left it in the middle of the road and ran. "Emma!" My voice cracked, raw and desperate. Neighbors stood on their lawns, phones in their hands, staring. Nobody moved. Nobody helped. "Emma!" The sirens were still distant, too far. Too late, I didn't think, I just went. I kicked the front door open. The heat slammed into me like a physical wall. Flames roared up the hallway, smoke so thick it scraped my lungs raw. Every survival instinct I'd learned as a Navy SEAL kicked in. Stay low, breathe through the fabric, move fast. I crawled through the living room. Our wedding photos, melting in their frames. The baby's crib we'd assembled last week, gone. Then I heard it, a faint cough. Upstairs. "Emma!" The staircase was half gone, burning from both ends, but that didn't stop me. I climbed. The wood groaned under my boots, heat blistering my skin through the uniform. When I reached the bedroom, I froze. Emma was on the floor near the window, unconscious. Her hands blackened from trying to protect her belly. Her dress was singed, her face pale beneath soot. "Baby, I've got you. I've got you both," I lifted her. She felt too light. I could barely hear her breathing. I held her against my chest and turned for the stairs. The fire screamed around us. Beams collapsed. The air was molten. I didn't look back. I jumped. Through the window, twisting my body midair to take the impact, landing hard on the grass with her in my arms. "Somebody help!" I yelled. "Call an ambulance!" Finally, people started running. Sirens closed in, but all I saw was her. I held her head in my lap. Her pulse was faint, but there. "Stay with me, Emma, please." Her eyes fluttered. Barely a whisper came out. "Jake, she did this." "Who?" "Karen." Then she went still. The ambulance ride was a blur of sirens and fear. Paramedics worked fast. Oxygen, IV, vitals, words I barely processed. I was burned, bleeding, shaking, but I refused treatment. Not until I know they're alive. At the hospital, they rushed her away. A nurse, older, calm, put her hand on my arm. "Soldier," she said softly, "you've done your part. Let us do ours." I wanted to fight it, but she was right. My legs gave out the second they led me away. They treated me for second-degree burns and smoke inhalation, stitched the glass cuts across my arms. None of it mattered. Hours dragged by like years until a doctor came in, still in scrubs, eyes heavy. "Mr. Mitchell," he said, "your wife is alive. We had to perform an emergency C-section. Your daughter is premature, but she's fighting. I didn't realize I was crying until he paused to hand me a tissue. She's in critical condition, but she's alive. Your wife's in a coma, severe burns and lung damage, but she's stable, alive." That one word kept me standing. They let me see them. Hope was so small, barely 3 pounds, wrapped in tubes and wires, fighting for every breath. The nurse said, "She's strong," just like her dad. Then they took me to Emma. Machines hummed around her, bandages covered her arms, her beautiful hair singed short. I took her hand carefully. "I'm here now," I whispered. "You hear me? You fight. You come back to me." Come back to Hope, and I stayed. All night, talking, begging, praying. Morning came, gray and heavy. 2 detectives entered, Rodriguez and Chen. They didn't look like strangers. They looked like men who'd seen too much. "Mr. Mitchell," Rodriguez said gently, "we need to ask you about the fire." I told them everything. The smoke, the rescue, Emma's last words. "When she lost consciousness," Rodriguez said, "she mentioned a name. Karen. Does that mean anything to you?" My jaw clenched. Karen Hutchinson, HOA president. 4 houses down. Their pens paused. "She's been harassing my wife for months. Fines for grass height, mailbox color, even our Christmas lights. She's obsessed with control." Rodriguez nodded. "We've reviewed the security footage. Ms. Hutchinson's car passed your house 3 times before the fire. And..." He hesitated. "She was parked down the street when the fire started." I stared at him. "So, you're saying it's arson," Chen finished. Gasoline poured around the foundation. "Multiple ignition points." My hands tightened into fists. "She set the fire while my pregnant wife was inside." Rodriguez looked me straight in the eyes. "We're bringing her in for questioning, but I need you to promise you'll let us handle this." He was right. The old instincts were screaming at me. But I wasn't that man anymore. "I'll let the law do its job," I said. "Just make sure she never sees daylight again." 7 days later, Hope was stable enough to breathe on her own. The doctors called her a miracle, but Emma still hadn't woken up, every day. I sat by her bed, reading her favorite books, talking about the baby, about home, anything to keep her anchored. Then, one afternoon, I felt it, the faintest squeeze of her hand. I froze. "Emma?" Another squeeze, stronger this time. Her eyes fluttered open, confused, then focused. "Jake, I'm here," I whispered, tears blurring my vision. "You're safe. You're in the hospital." "Hope's alive. She's tiny, but she's fighting." Her hand moved to her stomach, panic flashing in her eyes until I told her again, "She's okay." Emma's tears mixed with mine. Then her voice hardened. "She was there, Jake. I saw her. Karen. She was pouring something around the house. I tried to stop her. I swallowed the anger burning in my throat. She's been arrested. They have proof." "Good," Emma said, voice trembling. "Because if she'd killed our baby, not even God could have saved her from me." That's when I knew. Emma was back. Burned, scarred, but still my fire. Detective Rodriguez came by the hospital later that week, a quiet satisfaction in his eyes. "We searched her house," he said. "Found her diary, photos, fake violation lists, and evidence she'd been embezzling HOA funds. She targeted you because you were everything she wasn't, young, happy, expecting a child. She called it cleansing the neighborhood." Emma looked sick. "She's insane. She's facing life in prison," Rodriguez said. "And the DA's pushing for maximum sentencing." Emma nodded slowly. "Good. Hope hit 4 pounds exactly 1 month after the fire. The nurses brought a tiny cake and sang quietly while Emma, still wrapped in gauze, finally held our daughter for the first time. She was so small, her little fingers wrapped around one of Emma's. "She's perfect," Emma whispered. "She's a Mitchell," I said. "Small, but mighty." For the first time in weeks, she smiled. The road ahead was long. The house was gone, insurance tangled in red tape, and Emma's scars would take months to heal. But we were alive, together. At night, she still woke up screaming, smelling phantom smoke. I'd hold her and whisper, "It's over. You're safe now." But deep down, we both knew. Safety is something you rebuild. Karen's trial made national news. The woman who preached neighborhood safety had burned her own hypocrisy into history. When the judge read her sentence, life without parole, Emma squeezed my hand and whispered, "Hope, that word, our daughter's name, suddenly meant more than anything. Because out of all that destruction, she was proof life could rise from ashes. She tried to destroy our family with fire, but in the ashes we found something she never had, hope.